We can always learn about the nature of a house by looking at its opposite. The second is the realm of things, the objects we see and feel. The eighth, on the other hand, is the mystical realm, beyond what we see. In the second, stability is life. In the eighth, change is life. And not just any change, but a particular kind of change, the kind we refer to as transformation. In the eighth, we find regeneration and rebirth, but that's not easy. So planets that inhabit the eighth only express themselves when they have to, and that is under pressure. The eighth house contains forces that swell up from a mysterious level of the mind. The eighth house is associated with the part of the psyche that's unknown, unseen, and therefore unable to be analyzed until it's brought into the light of day. That's what planets in the eighth house are for, to bring the darkness into the light of consciousness. Transits to the eighth usually stir these forces, and then we have a choice to bring these into consciousness or push them back down. If we don't deal, they don't go away. They only change into something less convenient. In other words, anything you shove into the basement ends up on the front lawn. The deeper you push something into the unconscious, the more uncontrollable it becomes. It may turn into physical illness or behavioral disorders like obsession and compulsion. Obsessions are unstoppable thoughts, and compulsions are actions you can't manage because they're propelled by an energy that you either know little or nothing about. Powerful experiences of the unknown can make transits to the eighth quite unsettling. There's often a feeling at these times that you either have to change or die. The eighth house has always been looked at with apprehension, primarily because of its association with death. In a human lifetime, you have many significant ego deaths. Your old self passes away and you become a new person. Perhaps the event was jarring. Perhaps you were relieved to become a new person. However that went down, the person you were died, never to return. Naturally, then, the eighth house relates to questions about life and the death of the body. The force that animates the body leaves in death. The force that lies behind dysfunctional behavior leaves in an everyday transformation. In this segment of the wheel, we explore the great questions of existence. We go into what lies lower, beneath the senses of the body, under our perceptions, and under material existence. All the water houses deal with this emotional, perceptual level of the human journey. But of all the water houses, the eighth is the most serious. It's the playpen of Pluto, god of the underworld, and there's an urgency to everything that happens here. Another way you can learn about the nature of a house is by watching planets transit that house. And a lot of eruptions occur when planets transit the eighth. The energies that push up out of its depths shatter whatever norms make up your life. They actually shatter the inner life so that the outer life will be shattered, and so something new will be born. That's one of the reasons this placement is associated in traditional astrology with the death wish. Any Neptunian ideal is bound to fall, and disappointment is bound to come in. But I've explored the death wish with clients, and I've found not that this placement wants to die, but they want not yet to be born. They want to float in a sea of potential for eternity. Because of this fact, Neptune in the eighth is partial to intoxicating substances that seem to bring heaven to earth, at least temporarily. They know what it's like to be under that spell, and so they can be very good at the magical arts of persuasion and seduction. Exactly how Neptune expresses itself depends upon the rest of the chart. Does the chart support Neptune, or does it work against him? Does it offer an environment that makes the regenerative side dominant? Or does the tendency toward melancholy prevail? Neptune may operate differently depending upon conditions, but it always has the same intentions, and that is to force the shedding of the old skin. There's always disillusionment for Neptune because life isn't Eden, it isn't utopia. This placement must at some point face that reality. They must confront what's hidden in life and what's hidden in the mind. For Neptune in the eighth, that includes the mysterious mystical realm, the metaphysical, the occult, and the hidden emotional undercurrents that surround us. There's also some natural emptiness with this placement that's really a longing for heaven or to return to the peaceful waters of the womb. This placement dreams of being completely without responsibility, just as we are in the womb. No date book, no obligations. They're just curled up in the water while nourishment comes through a cord. Not a bad deal if you have a heavy Neptune, or if you have Neptune in the eighth house of the chart. These natives often try to get something like that going in life. It usually takes a while, but they learn it doesn't exist here. The other, more pleasurable side of Neptune is being able to surrender. These natives can really let go. They can sink deeply into meditative states, merge completely in sexuality, and they can attain spiritual ecstatic states. You see, the limitless planet works both ways. Regenerations and renewals can be vast, cleansing, even sacrificial or religious. And it's all for the sake of change, for the sake of transformation, for the invisible power that underlies all they see. With this placement too, the emotional experience can be extreme. Again, Neptune is without boundaries, so they don't feel sad, they become bleak. They don't just feel anger. They're in the most primitive kind of ire. Neptune is a dissembler. a master of disguise. And so this planet does a lot of gaslighting. It tells the native, oh, you're not feeling hopeless, you're just releasing stuff. Or you might get rage dressed up as spirituality. Neptune here says, oh, I'm not really mad at you. I don't feel betrayed. I just think the fates are telling us to go our separate ways. That does sound a lot more spiritual, but it also isn't true. The truth is they're experiencing the desire for control and a thirst for power. And that may well have come down through the generations. The 8th is the house of inheritance. That means shared debts too, and shared dysfunction, shared toxicity brought in by the ancestors. And because Neptune does this quietly in the secret, sacred waters of the 8th, it can be hard to tease out what's happening. You might find a singer, a songwriter, a musician, a poet that gives the whole self from head to toe, body to soul. You see, Neptune is a powerful channel for emotional intensity. Even this planet's penchant for suffering and sadness can bring their most powerful work. The 8th is an unconscious house. When Neptune's here, it becomes deeply unconscious. So these natives can reach down into the collective psyche. They can pull up images and ideas that speak to all people across time and across culture. Thank you for watching Secrets from an Astrologer's Desk. Stay tuned for all the ways you can get in touch for a birth chart reading and full astrological services. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Joy. Neptune in the 9th house is next.